Welcome to the comment. I'm your host, Mike. This conversation with a former student comes from the heart. He returns after 2 years to open up from everything from emotional breakdown in college, cultural identity struggles, and finding his chosen family, to how one teacher talked to him like a homie, gave him space to grow and to be seen. There are 5 takeaways that I got from this conversation. Mentorship through honesty. Real mentorship doesn't come from titles. It comes from showing up, listening, and speaking with truth without filters. The power of vulnerability. College heartbreak, homesickness, and failure became the catalyst for deep healing and unexpected brotherhood. Identity reclamation. Navigating life as a Chicano-American means living in between cultures, but finding strength in the tension. Community saves. When we allow ourselves to be real, the right people come in. Emotional safety builds lasting friendship. And finally, defining resilience. It's not just about pushing through. It's about slowing down, looking at the why, and healing forward. So let's get into it. But first, like, subscribe, and share this video with anyone who you think needs to hear this. And also, leave your comment below. We want to hear your story. You're part of the conversation.
You were my high school teacher for junior year, yeah. It was for ethics. That was one. Social justice. But I remember the first time we really connected, correct me if I'm wrong, it was during a basketball game.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember it was after soccer practice. And then we started chatting it up. Like, what kind of caught me off guard was that you weren't talking to me as an adult. You were talking to me like a homie. I know you're very vocal and don't like to hold back. Like, when a play happens, it's like, oh, the other team is horrible. I don't know why they're in our division. Honestly, if this is your first basketball game, you should have chosen a better time to show up.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, fair enough. But then I was like, oh, I can let loose a little bit. I'm not talking to a teacher who's going to hold this against me. You're chill. From then on, we went into the year. You were present in a lot of my soccer games. And even outside of classrooms, we would chat. And it's mostly the reason why I'm here today. High school was
3 years ago.
the fact that I'm still here right now is like, you left a good impression on me.
Why does that matter to you?
I think it matters to me because I feel like going into it, you were kind of like a mentor. A lot of times I'll talk and something is bothering me a little bit, but you would figure it out. You don't hold anything back. You say it like it is. When it comes to me, sometimes I'll hesitate to get it out, but once it's out, it's out.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, you started to know a lot of things for me. Like, I remember during the SATs, outbreaks about it. And then I texted you about it, and you're like, oh, don't worry, you gotta do good. Most of it's just in your head. Don't worry about it. And then you put a little candle for me. I was like, this is nice. So then I didn't notice it until maybe last year. You know, like you were kind of like a mentor for me, but I didn't know it. So that's what matters to me the most.
Well, I think one of the things that's interesting where we both met is because of the charisma school. Don Bosco wanted us to create an environment, regardless of what we're doing in ministry or work or life, is to carry those charism with us as family.
Right.
That's why we had faith families. There was much like bigger, older sisters and brothers to the young people, but then also it wasn't just like sibling, but really accompanying as a friend along the way, just like Christ journeyed with people as a friend, someone that cares about other people. Whether or not you had perceived that I was a mentor, that wasn't my goal. It was just more of like, how can I be there for others, including yourself, but also holding that space that people can be who they want to be and ought to be and be comfortable enough to live it out. So seeing me as a mentor, thank you. I think I learned a lot from you as much as you may learn from me. So I guess that leads into that next question of like, what are some things that you understood about me that you've learned? Then I'll flip the question to you about what are some things that you think I learned from you.
Going back to the whole honesty thing, right? Like you say it like it is, genuinely speaking. I could try to figure out how to think about it. And you're just like, okay, you listen and you're just like, this is what I think is happening. Either you say it's right or you say I'm on somewhat of a right track. And I'm thinking about it. It's like, oh, you know what? That actually makes sense. I understand that you're a good listener. You're always attentive to the little things. You're always there when I need it. You're very well spoken. You say what needs to be said, even though sometimes it'll be
Hard to say or hard to receive.
exactly. Yeah, that's what exactly what I'm thinking about. Yeah, what I said before. But yeah, you your attention to detail, you care for others, right? Like I mentioned before with the whole mentor stuff. You didn't even try to. Like it just came out natural.
Mm-hmm.
And then it took me a while to see that, but you were still doing it.
How I'm there for people, care for them, and I speak the truth to them. When I was in high school, I didn't have that. No one was willing to speak truth to me and say, this is how the world works. Get ready, buckle up, put a helmet on. The way I operate is the way I wish my teachers would have spoken and interact with me in that kind of way. Anything else to add?
I mean, I feel like when I went to the Kairos retreat, I learned a lot more about your origins and background. You brought it up during one of the first days of class when we had our presentation about ourselves. Well, that was surface level compared to the Kairos thing. You really went into it, like the emotions and whatnot. And that was one thing that I learned a lot too. Because, like, me personally, I don't really talk about my emotions, or I'm not really used to showing that vulnerable side of me.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so, like, seeing that firsthand, it's like, not only do I resonate with it, I kind of need to do that at some point. Because it's like, at some point, I've already learned this the hard way. Like, either it's going to dig deep to the point where it's going to break out and you're not going to be ready for it.
Mm-hmm.
So, for sure, seeing that really brought clarity that I have to get rid of that mentality of show no emotion. And then at some point, some way, you're going to get through it.
How has
Yeah.
that been present in your life now?
I had my first heartbreak too during college. Yeah. I'm pretty sure you recognize that already, you know, the high school stuff. It was nice when it happened, but going into freshman year of college, I was already on my last straw. I was homesick. I was, in my head at least, struggling with school, even though I had a B at the time, overthinking it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, the nail in the coffin, if you want to call it, the heartbreak happened. It's just like, what do I do now? So I remember that night, I had two friends who are like my brothers. Talking to them about it, I was like, I'm not used to doing that. I'm used to being a jolly guy, happy and whatnot. They saw me like actually like I couldn't say what needed to be said. They saw me choking on my words and what. So then I talked to them about it. I forgot how long the conversation was. It was pretty long. I don't think I cried during that time.
What was like for once opening up to people that you probably would never expect to open up to?
Yeah. It was in a way scary because I didn't know how they would perceive me. The thing I met them a few weeks beforehand, it was like, oh, I don't know how this is gonna change how they view me from before till now. But at the end of the day, I was like, hey, in my mind, I have nothing to lose at this point. The things that were valuable to me at the time, they're gone. So it's like, what do I have to lose? I communicated with them in a way that I'm not used to doing. That was pretty new to me, if I'm being honest. And then just hearing their feedback and whatnot, they really helped me out. Like some of the advice I heard, life just happened. When it comes to new journeys, new chapters in your life, sometimes people are not gonna stay. I heard that, and at first I was like that really hit. And now I'm looking at it back to, and it's like, it still hits the same. Cause it's not just when it comes to like, you know, relationship wise, but friendships as well, family as well. Right? Sometimes people just drift away. You can wonder about it all you want, but at the end of the day, as long as you communicate it, that's the best way you're gonna be able to see it. It took me a while to see that. That was the first time I saw it. I also talked with my family about it, cause like I had to introduce her to them, so I was like, oh shit, what am I gonna tell them? I remember I called my little sister about it. I told her about it. She was just listening. She didn't know what to say. One thing about me is that I do not want to show my weakness to my younger siblings. So I just told her about it, and she's like, oh, how are you doing? I'm like, I'm all right. I remember I called my older brother about it. She left me. I broke down immediately, right? And then I remember I took a lot of deep breaths thinking that was going to do justice for me. No, the waterworks went right away. I tried to get away from other people in my surroundings, but at some point, I just, you know what? It has to be this way. I walked around on my phone for like 2 hours and laid down everything. The homesickness, the first midterm that I failed.
Can we go back to the college friends?
Go ahead.
By you opening up, and you only met them a few weeks before, did that strengthen the relationship between you and your friends, or did they perceive you differently in a positive or negative way? Tell me about that.
I feel like that strengthened our bond, honestly. We met through a club. that I'm a part of right now. After that actual conversation, like there was a group chat made with us, and we're just like, "Oh, I'm trying to go on a grocery run. Anyone want to join me?" Or I'm gonna go to the lake, for example, just like walk around to chill. We were able to go places that didn't happen before the conversation. We were just doing that. We had little check-ins here and there because we all had stuff happening in life,
Yeah.
right? When it came to me, I was kind of the priority for a little bit because of the whole conversation.
Do you think that created a stronger bond?
Yeah, definitely.
And were they then receptive to being more open with you?
Yeah, yeah. There was some late conversations after that. That wasn't
Okay.
focused on me.
So a
Yeah.
catalyst that created an environment where now you can support one another, more of like we can talk at that level.
Yeah.
It's going to be real. It's going to be honest. It's going to be unfiltered. It's going to be, we can have those moments, but also still just be guys hanging out too.
Like I said, we hang out a lot at night. When it comes to talking late night, it just goes like that. So it's like that happens. I guess a little side note, everyone around us noticed that we're kind of a pair of three. A lot of people didn't know about it.
You guys formed some type of group.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not a boy band.
I remember they were constantly checking in because you see my hair right now super long,
Yeah.
right? At some point, I buzz it all up, and it's like, oh, I know what happened, but are you good? Genuinely speaking. And
Yeah.
then after that, everyone shares their stuff and whatnot. Cause it's like, again, we're comfortable with that.
You talked about Kairos a little bit, and how did that experience prepare you and shape you for college?
Yeah. I remember going into Kairos. Before then, I was like, oh, like, cool retreat. I think it'll be nice to really grow deeper with people. I remember when the idea was first brought up, I was like, would it be cool? Yeah. Do I want to go for it? Class is our top priority. That was my motto in school, like, studies over everything. I remember just saying, why not? A lot of the people that are going that I knew, I haven't talked to them in a while just because their priorities at the time. So that retreat really helped me out. Being vulnerable, it showed me that this is something that has to be normalized. It's something that's really overlooked. Like social media nowadays. You see it and it's like, a man shows emotion. Oh, you can't do that. And it's like, no, I understand it now. It's something that has to be talked with and done more often. Going to the retreat helped me see my value to others. Because I'm not one to initiate stuff, especially back then. Going into it, I met people and then I reconnected with some people that I didn't talk to. I don't remember why, but it just happened. They were just like asking like how I'm doing, and then we just like have like conversations about things that I forgot about before. Inside jokes came back, or more things that we enjoyed, memories and whatnot. They came back too. That got me thinking maybe I'm more important than I thought I. People actually care about what I have to say, which is another reason why I still hang out with that group I reconnected with at the retreat because we had those conversations already. We talked about it, and now we're comfortable with each other when it comes to saying, let's go out to eat or whatever. It's like, all right, let's go. Something happens. All right, you know what? Let's head out somewhere and talk about it. Out of the public eye. Let's chill. Something comes up. All right, don't even question it. Just go into it. And it's like that happened with Kairos. The small groups, I didn't know how to communicate emotions like that very well. And then I kind of wish I would have done a better job at it. I was going into it, but then I segued away from it. But for sure, seeing that happen and then seeing the importance of that when you did it as well as when other people in my small group did it, it was just like, wow. Waterworks happened, but they needed that. And I saw why it's important to have those.
You talked about Kairos being part of one of your turning points, your contribution to your identity. Currently, now you're in college. Tell me about another turning point.
Yeah. So I remember in my freshman year, I joined a club called the Society of Hispanic Professional Engineers. Going into it, I didn't want to just because I was kind of shy. And I was like, how will people perceive me, right? Then I had friends during the summer research program that were like really like insisting on me on doing it. It's like, hey, I think this would be good for you. It would be good for you to like kind of break out of your shell, meet people, and then you'll actually find your group of people that you've been waiting for. Which, side note, that's where I found the group of people that I hung out with. I remember I went there completely lost. I'm an engineer in college, but I didn't know what to do. at all. I didn't even know what an internship was. I didn't know about the importance of networking, for example. I had no idea where I was going. Going to that club really helped me see others who maybe were in my position at some point that are like thriving. I was able to connect with peers and other people who mentored me along the way, whether in a small way or a big way. I met a lot of my friends who I consider like my family. One of our pillars is familia, so family. My first year, I really felt it. And I still feel connected to all those people to this day. It helped me find my identity. I knew I was a first generation student trying to do something my older siblings had not done before. Usually, I just reach out to them for help. College application process, I reach out for them for support. Things I need to do, like schoolwork, I reach out to them. This was the one time I couldn't ask them. And I was like, what do I do now? That's when I went to SHIP. They really gave me the answers. I was able to learn about my strengths, what I'm good at, and present myself in a way that I can actually show my strengths to the point where I was able to attract some people into the club as well. I told them how I was able to find my belonging in there, how they was able to find myself, identify with my roots, right? That my parents, they sacrificed so much for me. And it's like, I don't know how I want to repay them back, or I don't know how to. I know how I want to. I just don't know how to do it. But Ship was able to really give me that a better idea of how I can do it, like starting now, not when like after I graduate. And that's why I still go to this day. I had a board position last year where I was helping with the local K through 12 students finding out what engineering is. Just because like the Merced area, a lot of them are like first generation Hispanics, parents, immigrants. They don't know English that well. So all they want to do is help out their children, but they don't know how to. So that's where I stepped in. I gave them the resources and the ideas that I wish I had in high school to give them some reassurance. I want to help them really see that, like, give their kids the better idea of what they can do before they try to go all in head first and then find a roadblock that changes their trajectory. Yeah, that's
Not terrible if you
yeah.
change trajectories. You definitely have discovered that doesn't work for you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like some sort of unnecessary roadblock. I want to do my best to make
Yeah.
sure it's not there.
They can at least see enough in the future to where it's like, maybe that's something I don't want to do.
Exactly.
Being a Chicano-American, talk about that.
Yeah. So Chicano-American, I feel like for me, I was able to understand that it means a lot more than that. I'm here, I'm like Chicano-American, so I'm not technically American-American, but I'm also not Mexican. It took me a while to figure that out. I really wanted to try to identify myself as both. Sometimes that's not it, because it's like, oh, they see you, oh, you're Hispanic. But then when I go to Mexico, oh, you're American. So it's like, that kind of made me lose my identity in a sort of way. But then going into a ship as well, a lot of them, same roots. Their parents worked their asses off to get those students to where they are now. And then a lot of them are like, oh, I was actually born in Mexico, so I can tell you how it is over there. They might see you as American, but they're not putting you down. They're like giving you an idea that, oh, you're privileged. Because a lot of people in Mexico want to go to the United States for a better life. And the fact that they see the result of it, it's like, oh, that's a blessing right there. That made me realize that when I go to Mexico to visit my family, I'm not feeling like an outsider, but I'm like, oh, I'm a blessing. I'm like the example of how much effort my parents really went into it. Because they left. I think my dad was 20 and my mom was 17. They both left the country, not a single word of English, and they just did it a la mano de Dios. Hopefully, all works well. It worked out in the end. It wasn't easy, of course. It was not easy.
It's definitely got to be an adjustment. With what's going on politically in the world, how does that affect you?
Yeah. So I don't.
Well, I should say politically in the world, politically in the United States.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, a lot of it I was unaware of because I'm a student and I put all my priorities in my studies. Right. It's gotten to the point where it's really affecting a lot of different people, a lot of different communities. It was brought up to like not only my attention, but like ship's attention as well. So that's when we had to like address it. In terms of me personally, it hasn't affected me. As far as I know, my family, they haven't been deported or whatnot. But I do understand that for me, my family's everything. If I was in a position where my family could be taken away from me, it would affect me a lot. Seeing the idea that can happen to others Even though it's not me, it can affect them a lot and make them homeless or really struggle. I don't like it, not just because family is everything. For me, seeing how instantly it can be taken away, maybe see some of the evil parts of the world that can happen, as you're mentioning earlier, the high school teachers, they don't really prepare you for that until you see it. For me personally, I see it through stories of others. I heard some stories of it happening from friends. It's something that needs to be corrected. I don't know how it could be corrected, but the fact that people who sacrifice a lot for the future of their families are being taken away, some of that liberty and their rights, just like that, it's not great. In a way, it pisses me off, definitely. I wish there was an alternative to it. If my parents weren't legal, I would feel a lot more fearful about it. Because a reason why I don't put too much thought into it is because I know it's not going to affect my parents. They have their green cards already, they have their visas and whatnot, so they're good. But if they didn't have that, I know for sure anytime like my mom will go on a grocery run, I'll be like, no, 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 don't trip. Like, I'll go for you. Don't worry about it. Even with my dad working, he's the breadwinner. So thinking that one day he's going for a lunch break or to buy some tools after getting a paycheck, depositing the money, to see that like, oh, I call my mom or my siblings, dad hasn't been home in a while. That's a fear I'm privileged to say I don't have. But if I was in that situation, I would definitely go more out of my way to help them out, right?
But what about like expectation with the real world versus your personal preference of community?
I think that when it comes to expectations, if you get a phone call from a family member, unless you actually can't pick it up, you should pick it up. That's how it should be. It's not like, oh, I'm gonna put it off till later. I'm gonna see what's up. It's a later problem. Let's not get used to that. A lot of people, including myself, right? Like, we just gotten like used to like getting the idea that like we have time to do everything, and that kind of leads to laziness. And it's like I feel like we need to improve on that because some things you don't have time to do. Some things just come up and you have to get used to it. You have to find out how to approach things. I feel like me personally, I have kind of gotten lost in that sense. And I feel like when it comes to communication, when you don't answer back, that could dictate situations. It could dictate opportunities. It could dictate your relationships, for example. If I say the wrong thing, then it's like, oh, like maybe the opportunity, done. That person doesn't really mess with me anymore. And that is something that should be improved on.
What assumption or belief you had to let go in life that you have learned in the last 2 years?
Yeah. I mean, the one that immediately comes up is I always use the excuse of everything happens for a reason. And it's like, that's what I'm saying. I used to do that all the time. I usually did it as a joke though. Cause like sometimes I'm like my friends happening, right? Like we would do jokes with each other. I'd be like, hey, everything happened for a reason, bro. But for me, I feel like I took that a little too far. Any sort of inconvenience, oh, everything happens for a reason. That was obviously a problem I didn't recognize until recently.
The reason why I don't think everything happens for a reason, I feel like that's a cop out to address the underlying problem of truth. For instance, something negative happens and they're like, everything happens for a reason. Maybe it's setting you up for something better. But what about the injustice? Maybe it didn't happen for a reason. God has a plan. We still have free will. At some point, that's not God's plan. Maybe his plan is, are you going to rely on him?
Yeah.
Are you going to turn and look at God and say, what do I need to learn from this situation? How can I be better moving forward? But also, how are we going to hold accountable somebody that put us in that bad situation? Someone that created something that made you look bad, even though you didn't initiate or create this. Someone doesn't like you at work and they bully you or make it really unbearable for you to be at that place anymore. And so you end up leaving. Everything you were doing was good for the community, but the few bad apples painted you to be a person that doesn't belong. I don't understand why people say, oh, that's part of God's plan. It happens for a reason. When in reality, well, what led up to that? There's a lot of evidence showing that it wasn't God. It wasn't anything else other than external factors, people actually taking free will and utilizing it to destroy, destruct, to manipulate, to change the narrative, to create this picture, this narrative that's true.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, everything happens for a reason. Well, the reason why it happened was because someone started creating this narrative, and yet for a reason.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, right? Like, I feel like that saying, it's like people say, oh, it happened for a reason, but no one thinks about the reason. No one
Right.
thinks about how it happened.
Right.
Exactly.
We
Yeah.
dismiss those actions, and then I'm thinking, well, there's an injustice there. It needs to be
Yeah.
addressed. Oh, wait, no, we don't talk about those kind of things.
When I did think about that, it wasn't like I didn't think about why it happened. All I thought about was like, what can I do from here on?
Just a
Like,
great growth mindset. Don't get me
yeah.
wrong. I support that.
Yeah. It's just, I kind of want to understand, get a little bit of clarity, you know? Because I didn't know what I wanted to do after high school. I didn't focus on how things happen. I thought about was, this happened? What do I do from here? How it happened and what do I do? They're connected. I can't say everything happens for a reason to forget about the lead up and just focus on what happens after. Because at that point, that causes problems for me. It could cause problems for other people, depending on what it is. I don't think that's worth trying to pursue just because of that one thing. So that's why I let it go.
Was there a moment in class, whether it's a conversation or an idea or experience that stuck with you and had an impact you did not expect?
Yeah. When it comes to like conversations that just randomly come out, I know there's a lot that resonate within me, but one that did was back to freshman year of college. I remember after I hit my breaking point, all the situations, all the things that happened to me, it just kind of got me off guard to the point where I had to call my brother and crying to phone. I went home for the weekend after that. I called my parents. They said I needed it. School is important right now, but at the same time, your health is important. And from the looks of it, you did not care about yourselves. I went back home. I spent the weekend with them, really talked to them in a way that I'm not used to. But what was unexpected was coming back from that. Because I spent the weekend and then I came back to Merced. I was waiting for an Uber ride from the train station. And then I got it. The driver was very nice. And then the conversation went really deep, if I'm being honest with you. It was an Uber driver. I was telling her that I went back home for the weekend because I just felt overwhelmed. I just felt super stressed out. Classes are, I'm trying my best at them, but at the same time, I feel like all the effort that my parents are giving me is kind of going to waste just because I don't feel I'm succeeding where I should be. And then she was telling me about her personal experiences, right? I remember she wanted to be a nurse, but she said she didn't have the opportunity to go to college because of financial reasons with her family. She abandoned that whole idea of going to nursing school. Even though she wanted to, she didn't have that opportunity. Personal circumstances of life just happened. She was reassuring me that it's never too late, that I'm at a good position right now. I'm young, I'm starting early. So when it comes to classes, it's overwhelming right now. I may even fail some, and that's just life. But at the end of the day, I am blessed to be where I'm at. I'm privileged to be where I'm at. No matter what I do, I could fail many times, but I will still be able to bounce back no matter what happens. You're young. Whether or not you think you're young, you are young. You're like a baby, basically. You have time to grow, develop. You can definitely get those traits that you think you don't have or that you could improve on. All that can happen. The only thing that's going to stop you is you. So as long as you continue striving on, keep having your family, your values, your community, you have all of them with you, the sky's the limit. Came back from home. I did not want to go back to Merced, if I'm being completely honest with you. I wanted to take some time away. I thought a weekend was nowhere near enough time, but it had to be done.
Right.
And then I was welcomed with more reassurance. At the end of the day, that made me understand my purpose, something that I did not know about the whole time before that. My purpose and what I want to do built me up to where I am today. I found out that my purpose is to try to help people as best as I can, whether it be the community or just people in the immediate attention. I want to be able to uplift them as much as I can. Even though I didn't think I was capable of doing it, I can definitely see that now.
20 years from now for you, what does that look like?
So 20 years from now, what I would want to do, I would want to for sure be in a position where I'm successful, I can make a living for myself. It doesn't matter where it is. I just want to be successful. I don't have to where like I'm living like actually comfortable living. I'm not worrying about rent being overdue or putting food on the table. That's where I hope to be. Another thing I want to do, I want to hope that like I'm like taking care of my family. I want to have kids in the future, so hopefully that happens and I'm able to still be there and help them out in any way that I can. But also like my parents. I want to try to give back to them, just like how they've given me all this time. I want to get into engineering and be able to fund them so my dad can retire. He can live a comfortable living. That my mom can be there with by his side as well, living together happily. And more importantly, I'm still with them. Because I don't know how it is after you grow up and stem away from your family. I don't have a complete understanding of that yet, but I want to still be with my family. I want my mom to be able to play with her grandchildren, my dad to be able to spoil or roughhouse. I want to try to help out people as much as I can. Try to be a mentor, whether it be for the organization, the community that I'm living in at that time, or even to UC Merced, right?
Yeah.
They've given me a lot already, so like even though it's gonna be super big by the time 20 years comes around, I still want to help out where I can.
What is the best advice you've ever received? Or at least the best advice that currently stands out to you?
The best advice I've received that I still carry with me today is to live life day by day. When you don't do that, you get lost in your surroundings. For me, social media is everywhere. No matter where you go, no matter what you do, some sort of headline from social media you're gonna see. I feel like it's easy to get lost into that because people in my generation are scrolling through TikTok, Instagram, YouTube all the time. All these figures, all these people are telling you different things. And it's like that can really make or break your mentality, honestly. When I live day by day, I try to not go on social media super often unless I gotta communicate with people. Just to be in the loop of what people in my community are doing. Not only that, but I can actually get things done. Instead of trying to plan out things that I should do the morning of and then not get everything done, I get sidetracked a lot. I can plan out the things that I have to do in a week, for example, and I'll just split it off in a day. That way, I'm not really trying to get everything done last minute. I used to juggle things, get overwhelmed, and then let external things get in the way. They occupy my brain. I can't think straight. Or they just make me think a certain way that it's like something that I shouldn't. Living day by day helped me get to where I am now. So living things day by day helped me to be able to see clarity in the world. It helped me to really get in touch with my values as well. I know that before I even thought about it, most of it was me finding out who I am, essentially. I didn't know what my interests were. I didn't know hobbies. I didn't know what I wanted to do. It would take things day by day. It helped me to be able to find my interests. Like I already knew I liked soccer, but I didn't know how much I relied on it. I wasn't playing every single day, right? Now I'll still play here and there. I'm nowhere near as good, nowhere near as in shape. But taking these day by day is like, hey, I understand where I'm at, and it's like, am I the best? No, but I'm not trying to be the best. I'm trying to have fun. I just want to do the best for me. Like I'm living for myself. That is something that's really stood out to me. I feel like in high school, I was not living for myself. I was trying to please others more than be happy with myself. Throughout college, I completely reinvented my mentality and it turned myself into I'm more confident in myself, more open to new experiences, and I'm just overall learning